What's going on, party people? My name is Solomon and I am an artist, and thus I go by Solomon the Artiste. Yeah, same backdrop, same hat, same shirt. Usually when I shoot these videos, they are back to back to back. They're never planned, but usually one video will inspire the next video, and then that video will inspire the next video. And so that's usually what happens. And so I figure, why not just sit and shoot them all while I'm here and, have a moment to do so. I am a New Yorker to the bone. Like, I was born and raised here and still live here. And lately, and I've been feeling this for a while, but it's just been strong lately, I've just been feeling as if I am in an abusive relationship with New York. I can't even front. I keep looking at the viewfinder, forgive me. But really it's just because I keep wanting to look at the battery. The battery's full though, it's okay. But it's like, it's such a tricky thing. I began to audition professionally for musical theater and things like that in 2012. I had no desire to do musical theater. My love was just straight acting, whether that be on stage or on film, but preferably on stage because there's an adrenaline rush that I think you can't get on film. On stage, when you're in the moment, you're in the moment, and if you mess up, you gotta, there's no actor wants to flub their lines on stage, but if it does happen, there's something beautiful in fixing it in the moment because you have to. And so I love that. I love the theater. My first love in life, in art, in everything is music. Even further, singing. So, and I can remember, like I'd been singing my entire life, but I remember the moment I knew that I could sing. I was about 3.5 years old. My dad owned a bakery, and I remember this night he was locking up. He was pulling down the shutters, and I'm just sort of standing there waiting for him to lock up as he normally does. And I'm singing my favorite song, "Jesus loves me, this I know." And for some odd reason, this particular night, I'm singing that song, and out of nowhere I hear, "Jesus loves me, this I know." And I was like, whoa, there's a wave. That's what I called it, a wave, the vibrato. There's a wave. "Jesus loves me, this I know." Oh my God. And I just started going crazy. And I'm like, Daddy, I have a wave in my voice. I have a wave, listen. And I sang the song for him. And, he smirked and, had his proud moments, like, good job, good. He's Jamaican. And so, that, and I always think about that moment. I always remember that moment. That was the moment where I said to myself, I'm going to be a singer. And I just started singing every opportunity I had, any performance that I saw to take part in, I did it. And so, which is very odd because at the same time I was a very shy and to myself kid, but you can learn about that in the bullying video. Maybe I'll link that below to make it easier for you if you're curious about it. But yeah, so you would think as an artist, as a creative, someone being born and raised in New York, that I got the life, like this is perfection, this is meant to be. It doesn't seem like that lately though, Most of the gigs that I've booked in New York have not been paying gigs, and if they are paying, they have not paid very well. And the first, real gig that paid me something and gave me like a bunch of opportunities was a gig not in New York, but in Massachusetts. I seem to get far more opportunities offered to me, in other places, in LA, in Atlanta, anywhere but New York for some reason. And it's interesting, like I have an agent here in New York, but I got that agent by doing the show in Massachusetts. You see where I'm going? And so I've been doing all these auditions nonstop, prepping myself, not living a life because I have to keep my voice intact for these, musical theater auditions. And let me just add real quick, I fell into musical theater because the college I attended, they were doing a production of Rent, and they needed a Tom Collins. And I'm a tall black dude with a big church voice. I had no interest in doing the show, for one, because I'll be honest, I wasn't particularly interested in playing that part. And secondly, I didn't want to do musical theater. I sing over here and I act over here, and there's no in between, I had no desire to do musical theater, no respect for musical theater. But I did that production. I ended up doing it for the sake of our director, may he rest in peace, and fell in love with the show, fell in love with musical theater, just fell in love with the whole process. And it was the first time I realized that I could, have the best of both worlds. I could have that quick satisfaction of both a concert and a stage play in one, But I digress. So I've been doing all these auditions, and I remember, like, before I actually got my agent, I was doing all these auditions and I wasn't really hearing back. Then one day I did an audition for a show I forgot the name of, but it was directed by, I forget his name, but he's the originator of, of Mark and Rent. And I got a call back, and I was ecstatic, because I was like, this is crazy. Like, nobody, all these other little shows, they won't give me a call back, but this man gave me a call back. I ended up not booking that show, but the fact that I got a call back made me feel like I ran the world. And after that, everything I auditioned for, I just kept getting callbacks, back to back nonstop. And eventually I started working with Jen Colella as my acting coach. And I was sharing this with her, and she's such a beautiful soul. She basically said to me, your time is coming. Where you are now in life is where you are supposed to be. And if you're constantly getting callbacks, then the next step obviously is to be hired. So that time is coming. Just keep doing what you're doing, but emphasize it, basically. And I took that with a grain of salt and began to do that. And things just kind of fell off. Like, I went from getting nonstop callbacks thinking the next step is to be hired to not hearing anything at all, Then I signed with my agency. They started sending me to some auditions that I could never get into, for the life of me. And these people started calling me back. And I was like, okay, all right, okay. Jen was right. It's coming together. Slowly but surely, it's coming together. But the issue is they're not hiring me. I'm constantly getting callbacks, but I'm not getting hired, And that's just a part of the business. I understand that. But I don't know. It's hard. It gets hard. I'm not gonna lie. It can wear on your self-esteem as a performer, But I don't know. I don't know where to go from there. But either way, the point is, I just feel like New York is just not working with me. And at this age, I feel like New York is all that I know. and I want to experience more of the country. I want to experience more of the world. I want to travel, actually. I'm not particularly keen on owning a home right now, or even renting an apartment. I want to travel. Like, the ideal career for me would be to be, as a recording artist, I would be basically probably like Bono. He's always on tour, And I know the idea of living out of your suitcase does not sound particularly interesting or fantastic, but to me it just sounds like life. Like, I'd be content with that. I can't even front, and that's why, like, with musical theater, like, in my life I'd love to do at least one, maybe two Broadway shows. I'd love to be a leading man. I am a leading man. But I honestly would prefer, I think, to be a part of a tour. Why not do something I love and travel from place to place to place doing that thing that I love? That way I'm killing two birds with one stone. I'm seeing different places, exploring different places, technically being paid to see these places, and doing this thing that I love to do, which is performing for crowds of people. It makes perfect sense, does it not? So, I say all of this to say that I feel like I want to take a break from New York. I feel like me and New York in this relationship, we need to take a break. I don't want to break up, because I feel like at the end of the day, like, if I had to pick a place to ground my feet for good, it would be New York. New York is the place to be at the end of the day, but there is an entire world around New York, which people believe is the center of the universe. And I'd like to see that world. I don't know where I'm going to go. I considered Georgia, Atlanta for Black Hollywood, so to speak. And obviously LA, but of course LA has far more film, obviously far more film than stage work, But regardless, I still want the experience of being elsewhere. Even if it was like for just a year or 2 years or something. Like, I know this dude who actually always said he wanted to live overseas. He wanted to live in Europe. And he actually went and did that for a year. He lived in Amsterdam for a year. Did I say Amsterdam? Amsterdam. He lived in Amsterdam for a year. And I saw that, and I just lived vicariously through him. I was so jealous, but, he did it. And he's my age. I need to do this. I want to do this. I feel the push out of New York. There's been so many obvious signs that I need to get out. And there's a small part of me that's a little afraid. There's a part of me that feels like I'm going to leave and then this big opportunity is going to appear that I should have been here for, but, now I'm gone. But I guess that's what life is also, Or at least my cousin said that to me. I'm definitely going to take this break from New York. I don't know if it'll be in Georgia, if it'll be in LA. I don't know what my plans are, but I know that I'm going. I kind of wish that I would have, done this 10 years ago, done this at 20, done this right out of college, but I was too petrified. I'm not even gonna front. I was too scared, like to not just leave New York, but to leave my family. Like, I don't even know how old I was when I finally rode a plane by myself. Like, I was so scared at 19 to ride a plane by myself that I bought my younger sister, who was 9 at the time, a ticket to fly with me just so I could have someone to come with me. What was she gonna do for me if something were to happen? No, nothing. She was 9. But it made me feel good, feel better to have a companion with me, basically. That's so silly. I can't believe I told you guys that. But I mean, we had fun though. But either way, you know, the first time I flew by myself, I think I might have been how old was I? I think I was 23. The first time 23? Possibly 25. It's well, something around there, early 20s though. Closer to 25 though. It doesn't even matter. The point is, and even with that, I flew somewhere and stayed with family. You know, I've never really been that dude to just go off and do something on my own and be on my own, you know, and I want to do that. Now I'm comfortable and ready and willing and not just wanting but needing to do that, you know, but I still wish I would have had these feels at 20. And you know, if you're watching this and you're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old and you just feel like you want to just go somewhere and be, your parents will probably hate me, but I say do it. You know, if you feel comfortable enough. I know of quite a few people who knew, you know, I want to act, I want to be on Broadway, and so they picked themselves up from wherever they lived in the country and came to New York to pursue it, you know. And sometimes you will find that while you're good at, you know, one thing, that's not necessarily your passion. I have a friend that moved here to New York pursuing acting. He was acting and he was getting roles, he was booking things and doing, you know, he was doing very well for himself. But over time, he realized that he wasn't loving it. But what he did love was yoga. And so he began to do, I think he began to do yoga classes just for the sake of exercise. And he found that he really loved it. And now he's a top yoga instructor with his own, you know, teaches his own classes. He travels to India for excessive classes and for teachings and such, you know. And I've never seen him happier. And he makes great money, you know, and not that he does the yoga for the money, but, you know, we all aim to make a decent, comfortable living via our passions. That's not always easy. That's definitely not easy as an artist, especially, you know, as an actor, as a singer, as a painter, as a dancer, you know. I mean, heck, top known dancers barely make ends meet, you know. But I guess that's why, you know, you have to do art for the passion as opposed to doing it for the money, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, since then though, I've traveled. I've, you know, done small tours here and there, not in musical theater, but, you know, just with my own music. Very minute things, but, you know, important things nonetheless. And I'm gonna go on a tour this summer. Again, I think I've mentioned this in another video, but once the details are finalized, I will share that with those of you who care. But yeah, I need a break from New York, so I'm definitely gonna take that break, you know. But to you younger folk, you know, don't be like me and let, you know, nerves and fears and things like that deter you from experiencing the world. You know, don't let that deter you from trying your hand in another state. You know, if you're in New York and you want to try LA, do it. You know, you can always just come back. You know, I don't know that you can always come back to family. I don't know what your situation is, but the fact is, you don't have to stay where you don't feel comfortable, basically, you know. And this is exactly what I mean. Well, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I won't say that. It's too soon to say that. But either way, I guess I'll end this video here. Now I'm just rambling. But if you've watched this far, thank you so incredibly much for doing so. Please hit that subscribe button if you so choose. Normally, I like to say don't feel pressure to do so. Watch this video. Well, technically, you've already watched this video, you know, since you're at this point. But either way, watch this video in completion. Watch another 2 or 3 videos, and if you like my content, hit that subscribe button. Please do that. Please comment, let me know what you think, anything you want to hear me speak about, any songs that you might want to hear me sing. You know, please like the videos, share the videos, encourage other people to subscribe. It would help me out such a great deal. And yeah, thanks for watching. God bless.